Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more buckshot testing. And I've got a shell out here today that we have tried, but in a choke and gun combination that we have not tried yet. And I'm hoping to see some little bit better results out of it from our first test, since I definitely think it has potential to have a little bit better performance in it. So for what I brought out here today, we've got some of these guys, the Herter's double-aught buck shells. These are a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch double-aught buck. That's 9 pellets to a shell, and they say they're going 1,325 feet per second. Now, for the first time we tested those, we ran them through my Mossberg 835, and they did good enough, but they just weren't impressive. However, from the test we've ran with buckshot out of my 835, for whatever reason, it just has not been super amazing as far as performance goes. However, that has not been the same story for today's setup. So as for that setup, that is my Remington 1187 Premier here with the stock full choke in the gun. It's a 688 constriction for anybody who's curious. And that gun with that stock full choke has really shown some impressive results with some of the buckshot loads we've tested through it so far. So I'm curious to see if that gun and choke combo will give us any better performance than my 835 did with these shells. Now, these are just 9 pellet double-aught buck loads, so we're not going to have a super impressive pellet count number like we would in a 12 or a 15 pellet double-aught buck load, but we should still at least hopefully get some decent performance out of it. But as for the test, it's going to be shot at 40 yards. I do have the chronograph as well, so we'll see how close we get to the box posted 1325. And I do also have some templates, both circles in different sizes and animal shaped templates as well, that we can lay up against the target there and see how they would have done in a straight up pattern scenario as well as a hunting style scenario. So I'm going to get you guys a view of the chronograph, since you won't really be able to see anything hit the paper target, and we'll shoot our shot. We'll go take a look at our overall pattern, and then we'll lay some templates up and see how they did. So let's head over here and shoot them and see what this combination can do. Alright, so as you saw, that round gave us 1,421 feet per second. That is moving out pretty quick, especially when the box called for 1,325. That's what, 96 feet per second above what the box called for? So they're definitely moving relatively quick for a double-aught buck load. But let's go actually look at our paper target down at 40 yards and see how they did, and throw some templates up and see if we got any better performance out of them this time. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and this is immediately an improvement already over what these shells did in my 835. But let's actually take a look. This time we have all 9 pellets on our piece of paper here. And for reference, that paper is 36 inches wide by roughly about 36 inches tall. And all 9 of them are well within the edges of this paper. And this white spray paint mark here, that was my point of aim. And as we can see, we had 3 that were pretty much right on top of my point of aim. One that was very close and one that was kind of close as well. So definitely looking much better for this one already. And without even putting any templates up, I'm liking the kind of performance I'm seeing so far here. But speaking of those templates, let's start out with a 10-inch circle and see how many pellets we would have within that. Alright, so here's our 10-inch circle template, and if we line that up with my point of aim where I wanted these pellets to go, that gave us 4 within a 10-inch circle there. So I think that's some of the better pellet count numbers that we've seen so far out of some of these buckshot loads. So we're definitely off to a pretty decent looking start, but let's throw a 30-inch circle up and take a look at how they did within that. Alright, so now we're looking at our 30-inch circle, and with it roughly centered up to where our point of aim was, we very clearly had all 9 of our pellets within that big circle. So not too much special to see on this one, but definitely looking promising so far. But let's throw a deer size template up and see how these would have done in a hunting style scenario. Alright, and here we have our deer template, and for reference, we have his front leg down there at the bottom, and his neck just starts over towards the right hand side. So if we put that white point of aim dot right kind of in the vitals shoulder area where we would kind of want it to be, we definitely had some good looking results on this one. We had a total of 7 out of the 9 hit the deer, and definitely we have a lethal shot right here. We had one that landed a little bit low in the front leg, but all 6 of those would have definitely got into something vital related for sure, especially these 3 right here, right where our point of aim was. So we would have, no question about it, had a dead deer in this scenario for sure. But for those of you in the South that deal with hogs all the time, let's throw a hog template up as well and just see what it would look like in that type of scenario as well. Alright, so now we're looking at our hog template, and it's the same orientation that the deer was. We have his 2 legs down there at the bottom, and his neck just starts off to the right hand side there. And if we back up here and look, we did have all 9 of our pellets impact this hog here. And it's pretty much the same story. We did have one get down there in the front leg area, and this time we did have these 2 kind of up here towards the back of the spine-ish area. But as far as our vitals here, if we line up where we want to be, that is no question a dead hog right there for sure. So we're looking really, really good out of these Herter's double-aught buck shells through that 1187, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Alright, and this is pretty interesting here. These have a wad like you would see in a target load. And with these being a Winchester load, this looks like something that would be in like a AA target load shell. There's your stamps on the bottom there, and it does have AA right there and WW, Winchester maybe, I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but that to me just looks like a Winchester AA target wad. But either way, definitely something interesting to see out of this shell. Alright y'all, well, what do you think about how these shells did? I was hoping that they would do a little bit better from that 1187, which kind of has been the theme so far. My 835 it does okay with buckshot, but it's just not impressive, especially when you look at a result like that from my 1187. But as for this test, there's not really a whole lot to argue with there. We had all 9 of our pellets on that piece of paper, and we had 3, 4, 5 of them right in that vital area for our hunting and our pattern density type of scenarios as well with our templates. So we're definitely looking pretty good out of this test. But what do you guys think? Is that what you expected to see, or were you a little bit surprised by that? And is that a shell that you would actually use? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts about it. But on that note, stay tuned because we've got plenty more stuff coming, especially now that we're getting close to deer season. And I'm going to jump back to getting a bunch more testing done for y'all. So I'll see y'all in the next one.